moved on from there.
And
Any other advice?
And also, don't think that we are a perfect couple. There's no such thing as a perfect couple. We have issues, we have arguments, but the key is how you handle your situation. Sit down and talk about it, come to a conclusion, come to an agreement, so.
And literally like sit down and talk, like not talking over each other. We don't use profanity or foul language and cussing at one another. We don't have disagreements in front of our children. We don't allow children to join our adult conversations. They are to stay in their place. There are boundaries, that we have set. And we don't discuss, or for the most part, we don't put our relationship out there. If we do put it out there, it's because it's to help them and edify their marriage. Other than that, I just don't talk about my marriage with my girlfriend. It's just a boundary that I won't cross. Not unless what I am talking about edifies her. But we never discuss our sexual relationship with outside people.
And also, you never talk bad of your spouse to other people, no matter how, your spouse, how they are in your home. You never, ever talk bad or down about your spouse to your friends, family, whoever outside the house. So those are the boundaries. It don't matter how I feel about my spouse, I will not talk bad about my spouse to nobody else.
And just to give you a little bit more background, I am from the United States. Again, I'm 36. We have 2 children, ages 19 and 12. And then currently, we have 2 foster children. He is not from the United States.
I'm from Africa. I'm from Zambia.
But he is legally here.
I've been here 16, 17 years. Yep.
He has a green card, which means he is a legal resident. He is legally able to stay in the United States. He has a Social Security card. He has a state ID, all that. He is going to apply for citizenship. So our marriage was not based on, it's a myth, you get married just to get citizenship.
Nope.
First of all, if you do get married, if someone foreign or from, not from the United States get married to someone that is American, you still have to wait so many years before you even can get, it's not like you can apply just because you married someone that's American. So that myth, let our marriage be an example that that's not true. Also, it's not free. He does pay taxes. All those myths that come about. Now, of course, with this president, it has caused us to be a little nervous because he is, he's not a citizen, but applying for citizenship. But I say all that to say is that we are very culturally diverse marriage. So his mom is here. She is from Africa. My family is involved in my marriage. Not involved in my marriage, but my mom is here. But we do not allow my mom or his family or my family to play a role in our marriage. Our marriage is our marriage. What we agree to is what we agree to. What we want to do, we do. We do not, I don't go back and even tell my mom, if I'm stressing about anything, because then that will cause my mother to look at him in a way that I don't want her to look at. And then when I feel better about whatever situation I share with her, she may still be upset. So therefore, it's just a boundary that we don't cross. At least I have it.
Not just the marriage, in the home. Just the home period. We don't allow no outsiders, family, whatsoever to come, between us.
What else? What else can we share? 13 years. Intimacy. I don't want to go into big details because that's a boundary that we don't cross. But let's say it is to where a person can get comfortable in their marriage, and the intimacy you can be lazy doing intimacy. Or he will say sometime, what you go to bed in changed. What I went to bed in changed over the course of our marriage. But it's a matter of being patient with one another. I don't know, being patient with one another and understanding that I fell in love with you. It's not lust. It was with you. So no matter if I'm having lazy months, it's no excuse to step out on your marriage.
You have to know your partner. You have to know your spouse. For example, when they come home, they're tired from work. You have to know that this is not the right time. I understand why, because they're tired. So you have to know body language of your partner, your spouse.
And you have to allow them to rest. And especially when we're both busy. We both have jobs. On top of that, we do foster care. My background or my career is in social work. I do clinical social work. So I assist individuals with long-term mental illness, whether they're adults or children. I'm also a foster care case manager. My husband does welding and construction. And he went to, get a certification in that. And then I went on to get my licensure. I have my master's in social work. So, which is a very strenuous, stressful job. So when we both come home, we know each other. It's not like we tell each other, this is what you're going to do. Can you do the dishes? We just automatically do it. He does his part and I do mine. And again, we don't automatically assign anything. We just do it. Some days I just cook and he don't. Some days he will cook dinner and I won't. Our children help out. Now, our children do have a schedule that we have provided them with because they're getting of age and we want to instill values in them. And they help out. They're 19 and 12. We also pass our values and our structure down to our foster children. We don't push anything on them. That's one important thing that we don't do. We accept our foster children from where they are, but when they come into our household, we interview them and we allow them to interview us. And if they feel like it's not a good placement, then we tell their worker that it's not a good placement, regardless of what their workers say. We don't never want to take anyone where they feel uncomfortable. So we have devotionals. We have family devotionals once a month. We have family night once a month. And we try to get out just with us, but we're really not successful with that because we barely can find babysitters for our children. Even though my oldest is 19, she has a medical disability and an intellectual disability. So we can't get away as often as other couples may be able to. So and that also adds a lot of stress to our marriage. But yet we understand that. And when we first got married, I already had my daughter. She was 5 years old at the time. He had no children. But it had to be an understanding that I'm raising a child with a medical diagnosis and an intellectual diagnosis. And I knew I needed to marry someone that will be patient, that will be able to not only consider my needs, but also consider my daughter's needs. And that was an insight to show me what type of man I will marry. How did you feel about marrying me, knowing that I already had a child with a disability?
I didn't have no problem with it because I knew what I was getting into. And I knew at the same time that marriage is what I wanted when I met you, when we started dating. So that was not even an issue or a big deal.
What did you see in me?
What did I see in you?
Why did you marry me? What did you see in me? Was it lust?
Nope.
Why did you marry me?
The first, what caught my attention is smart, and she was in school. So she knew what she wanted to do. She knew the goals she wanted to achieve. And that's what attracted me to her. So, once we started dating and we started getting serious, I knew that this is the one I'm going to marry. And we took it from there. Here we are.
And what I saw in him was his work ethic. He didn't mind working. And then he didn't have transportation, but he still was at work. That didn't stop him, and that was no excuse for him. We met at our job. He was always at work, and he had very good work ethic. And then he asked me on a date. And then when we went on a date, after that, he asked me to take me out for my birthday, even though he was a no-show. That should have been a dump, right, ladies?
I was working.
Okay. But I did give him another chance. And after that, you know, he came over, but the next morning, he had breakfast and stuff clean, and I was like, this is game. But he never changed. From the first day I met him until today, he has very good work ethic. He loves God, and it's not for show. It's real. And that's what attracted me to him. And also his closeness to his family. His mom and his siblings. That was very, I don't know the word for it, but that's what attracted me to him as well. And then we got married. I come from my father was a minister. He was very rooted in Christian spirituality, and his father was a pastor. Neither one of us knew that until after we started dating and getting to know each other. It was a year that we dated. We didn't separate. He went to Job Corps, and again, I was still in school in Kansas City. He was like hours away, so that's his story. So there was a gap, and then after he returned to Kansas City, we then picked up from where we left off. There's a lot in between that I'm not about to share. We picked up from where we left off, and then shortly after, his father married us in our house.
We just woke up one day like, let's get married.
Yep. And then we had our son.
We didn't have no big wedding.
No,
none of that.
None of that.
We just in our house.
I got
in
a
the
baby.
house, we got married.
We got a baby.
And 13 years later,
It's
here we
real,
are.
guys.
We still married.
We budget. We live simple lives. You know, it's not about what we have and have nots. We live very simple lives, and I'm happy.
So it's not about how big your wedding is. It's just, you know,
so
how much love you have for each other.
So our jacuzzi is about ready. And if you guys have any questions or any other things that we did not cover, if you want to see more posts from us, please comment. Most of all, please subscribe, because we will have more videos on relationships. I also do natural hair videos, but I'm definitely not fancy with my blogging. I'm just now learning how to do this stuff. But if you guys have any marriage questions, hit us up. Bye.